And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Andrew's Doors, I hope you enjoyed it. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had four ugly, mean stepsisters: Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. One day, the king of Fivingham's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Fivingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quintuppling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Fiona said, He's going to marry me. Isabella said, No way, Fiona. He's going to marry me. Verona said, Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Ella said, All three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Quintuppling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I got a lot of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quintuppling. The fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. Quantity, woo! The fairy godmother's magic did all the chores and then turned Cinderella's do-rag and ribbed dress into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a fantastic dress, and get a load of my glass slippers. But she's not done yet. The fairy godmother said, Fetch me. Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 5 pumpkins, and the fairy godmother turned the 5 pumpkins into a handsome coach. It's drawn by 10 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Quintuppling said, Who should I marry? Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella said all together, He's walking towards me. Well, he's not walking towards any of them, but Prince Quintuppling is walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Quintuppling danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And when she was running so fast, she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quintuppling was so worried that she might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Fivingham to find her, bringing the tiny glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door where Cinderella and her 4 ugly mean stepsisters live. Prince Quintuppling said to her stepsisters, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Fiona is first. but her foot is too small. Isabella is next, but her foot is too big. Fiona and Verona and Ella are last, but neither of the feet match. Suddenly, Prince Quintuple noticed Prince Fiverella's sweet singing. Prince Quintuple, is that really you? Of course it's me, Fiverella. Prince Fiverella is so excited because she's happy to have her Prince Quintuple back. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. And take care, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Fiverella 2. 5 Wishes Come True. A sequel to Fiverella. And based on the story of Cinderella and its sequel, Fiverella 2. Dreams Come True. And let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon two times, Fiverella and Prince Quintuple were happily married. Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella have a few tricks up their sleeves. They're complaining about not marrying Prince Quintuple. Fiona said, "No fair! I thought he was gonna marry me." The rest say, "Well, I thought he was gonna marry me." Several months later, Fiverella and Prince Quintuple are finally pregnant, but Fiverella is sick, so the baby might die. Fortunately, Fiverella's fairy godmother knows a spell that can cure Fiverella herself. She waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, "Quinity, quantity, quoo," and the baby is cured. However, the spell has a side effect. So it wasn't one baby. It was quintuplets, 4 girls and 1 boy. The fairy godmother says, "I'm sorry. The spell has a side effect." Fiverella and Prince Quintuple aren't upset though. They were overjoyed instead. They named the quintuplets Queenie, Ursula, Indy, Naughty, and Tilly. 6 months later, it's the royal half-birthday. Fiverella asks, "Everyone has their gifts, but what about your gift, father-in-law?" The king has 5 magical necklaces for Queenie Ursula, Indy, Naughty, and Tilly. They need to make a wish. Rub the jewels on them and it'll come true. The king of 5 messengers saw that Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ali are heading for the party and said, "Oh no, they're in trouble! Oh, big trouble! Oh no! Goes over to the king and tells him, "Your Majesty, 4 young evil ladies are headed for the party." The king of 5 gets over and he yells, "Sound the alarm!" The king and his messenger then blows a trumpet alarm. The king's guards hear it and attack Fiona, Isabel, Verona, and Ella, who attempt to escape. Queenie, Ursula, Indy, Naughty, and Tilly say all together, "We wish." Fiona, Isabel, Verona, and Ella are in the castle's dungeon and rub the jewels. The wish it came true. Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella are now in the castle's dungeon. Their half-birthday party is saved. And they, along with Fiverella and Prince Quintuple, live happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, based on a real-life Disney movie. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share too. And buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. Oh, I almost forgot one important thing. If you want to see maybe someday Fiverella 3, Love and Quintuple Love and Glee on June 27th, 2025. A bit of an addiction. Maybe this could be a 1 month, an every monthly and 2-day tradition. And as I was saying, take care, Andrew Stores. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55-erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named 55-erella. 55-erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatina, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. May 55-erella do all the chores. 55-er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yvonne, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. One day, the king of 55-ham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 55-ham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quinquagentupling. But 55-erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fatima, the oldest stepsister. Ivana said, No way, Fatima. He's going to marry me. The rest said, No, he's going to marry me. Later, 55-erella is so sad, distraught and upset doing chores about not going to the ball, and marry Prince Quinquagentupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 55-erella by saying, There now, my dear sweet 55-erella. I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. And because of that, 55-erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 55-erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 55-erella has 55 pumpkins and 110 mice. 55-erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 55 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 110 mice into horses, and 55-erella's fairy clothes into a gown and crown. 55-erella says, I've never seen such a quinquagentupletastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? 55-erella's fairy godmother says, Well, you can't. But have fun, 55-erella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. Back to normal. And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. 55-erella accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of 55-ham says, Good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Quinquagentupling, was one who he owed to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Quinquagentupling responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 55-erella arrives just in time for the ball. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, He's walking towards me! All together, but he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Quinquagentupling is walking towards 55-erella. May I have this dance? asks Prince quadrupling, in which 55-year-old responds, I would be delighted. Prince quadrupling and 55-year-old dance happily together. But later, as 55-year-old checks her clock, it's almost midnight, and so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince toppling is really sad and worried that he might never see 55-year-old again. The king of 55-year-old comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find her. And so, the king of 55 and Prince toppling began their journey all around 55 to find 55-year-old and brought the glass slipper with them. By the time they arrive, they knock. Prince knocks on the door of the house where 55-year-old and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 55-year-old, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince then says, Ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can you try on this glass slipper? Fatima is first, but her foot is too big. Ivana is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince toppling and the king of 55 noticed 55-year-old singing. Prince toppling, is that you? She hollered excitedly. Prince toppling says, Of course it's me. My father and I found you. I love you. Will you marry me? And the glass slipper fits. And so, 55-year-old, the king of 55 and Prince toppling lived happily ever after. The end. And I bet it was a fun story, right, Andrew Stewart? I've been debating on making some sequels. So, if you want to see maybe someday 55-year-old 2, 55 wishes come true, tell your friends about it, okay? And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And have you found your prince or princess? Just let me know. And maybe my Cinderella parodies will come true and become real. Take care, Andrew Stewart. Bye. And now, Andrew Stewart, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55-year-old 2, 55 Wishes Come True. A sequel to 55-year-old, based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon two times, 55-year-old and Prince toppling were happily married. But Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella are extremely jealous about it. Have lots of tricks up their sleeves. They can do anything to stop them. No fair! I thought Prince toppling was gonna marry me, exclaimed Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. A year later, 55-year-old and Prince toppling are pregnant, but gravely ill. Luckily, 55-year-old's fairy godmother knows a spell that can cure her. And not a minute too soon, 55 is cured, and so is the baby, who is a young girl named Queenie. Meanwhile, Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella find a strange magical medallion that grants 55 wishes. This gives them an idea to use it to cause chaos. The first wish is to witch Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, "We wish to be super strong," and the medallion grants their wish. So they have 54 wishes left. "Not so fast!" shouts 55's fairy godmother. But before she could cast a spell, Fatima, the oldest stepsister, punches her into the air, causing her magic wand to fall out, hit the ground, and go haywire. 55 tries to save her fairy godmother by facing her magic wand, but magically turns into a frog. Luckily, the king of 55 explains that there's only one way to fix Fiverella's fairy godmother's magic wand. Is to talk to the old wand maker. But before he can finish, Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella lock him up and then steal 55's fairy godmother's magic wand. "Whatever will we do?" whimpers 55, who is now a frog. Her daughter, Queenie, knows what to do. She grabs the medallion from Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella, and says, "I wish everything was back to the way it was before. And then, I also wish Mommy's fairy godmother's magic wand is fixed, and not a minute too soon. Everything is back to the way it was supposed to be. And 55's fairy godmother wand is now fixed." "What should we do now?" asks Prince Quinquagin. Queenie suggests turning Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella into stone so that they can't cause any more trouble. And so they agree. 55's fairy godmother then chants the magic words. "Fibbity foopity ice cream cone, magic wand, turn them into stone," and waves her magic wand, which is now fixed and not a minute too soon. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella are now stone statues so that they can't cause any more trouble. And the king of 55 says, "My granddaughter Queenie, well done! If you save the day 5 times in a row, I'll make you a hero." And they, along with 55 and Prince Quinquagin, live happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, share, and introduce everything. And buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. Take care. Bye.